My name is Mavis Nanaya Krantima. Details of our stories now. President John Dramani Mahama has directed all government appointees to declare their asset by March 31st, 2025 or risk losing their positions. Speaking at a brief ceremony at the Jubilee House on February 18, 2025, where he submitted his own asset declaring forms to the Auditor General, the President made it clear that his administration would not tolerate non-compliance.
Pursuant to Article 2861 of the 1992 Constitution and the Public Office Holders Declaration of Assets and Disqualification Act 1998, Act 550, a person who holds a public office shall submit to the Auditor General a written declaration of all property or assets owned by or liabilities owned by him, whether directly or indirectly. During his campaign, President John Dramani Mahama promised to ensure all government appointees declare their assets as part of measures to dealing with the corruption in the country. At an event at the Jubilee House earlier, the President declared his assets and handed over documents to the Auditor General.
Just performed a simple but brief, very important act of presenting my completed assets declaration forms to the Auditor General, as required by Article 286 of the 1992 Constitution and the Public Office Holders Declaration of Assets and Disqualifications Act 1998, Act 550. Ghana's assets declaration regime and its related activities have often been shrouded in secrecy, and only unless in special circumstances compliance is often difficult to measure. In times past, I would privately have presented these forms to the Auditor General in fulfillment of my statutory obligation. I've taken this step of presenting these forms publicly as a way of injecting some openness and transparency into the process of assets declaration. I've always maintained that while it is all well and good to punish corruption, a more effective way of addressing the canker is preventing it from occurring in the first place. I honestly believe that if properly curated and enforced, the assets declaration process can become a sustainable tool for tackling corruption.
He noted that Ghana's asset declaration regime has often been shrouded in secrecy and that he's taken this move to inject some openness in the public officers' declaration asset regime in the country. The President urged all government appointees to follow suit and declare their assets by March 31 or face severe sanctions, including forfeiting their appointment. The Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, later confirmed the March 31 deadline, stating that all appointees had been given ample time to complete the process.
Corruption by nature is insidious and thrives under the cover of darkness. The more light that is shown on it, the more likely that it will be fought successfully. I've also taken this step to send an unmistakable signal to all public office holders, especially those that I have appointed, that I take the declaration of assets very seriously and expect full compliance from them. I've asked the Chief of Staff to send word to all appointees to ensure that they declare their assets by the end of the first quarter of this year, that is by 31st March 2025. I wish to stress that any appointee failing to meet this deadline would face severe sanctions, not excluding removal from office. Even as we strive to hold past government officials accountable for their stewardship, I deem it even more imperative to enforce anti-corruption among our present public office holders.
Moving on to another story now, Health Minister Kwabena Kando is calling for an all-hand-on-deck approach towards dealing with the cholera outbreak in the country. Addressing Parliament on the issue earlier on Tuesday, February 18th, the minister regretted that some lives have been lost since the outbreak and went on to outline measures put in place to curb the outbreak. He advised against politicizing the issue and called on all to get on board to deal with the issue. The Minister of Health, Kwabena Akando, reported that as of February 13, 2024, the cholera outbreak has affected multiple regions, with 6,145 recorded cases, 719 confirmed cases, and 49 deaths. The outbreak, which began in Adan West in the Greater Accra region in October 2024, has since spread to other districts within Greater Accra and to 4 additional regions: Central, Western, Ashanti, and Eastern. During a briefing in Parliament about the government's effort to control the disease, the minister emphasized the importance of a unified approach and cautioned against politicizing the issue.
Mr. Speaker, I was exceedingly surprised when my own good friend, the minority leader, was trying hard to link the cholera outbreak with change of government. For his information, Mr. Speaker, we started recording cases in cholera as far back in October 2024. Mr. Speaker, yes, that is the records. If you don't know, please keep quiet. That is the records. Mr. Speaker, in 2024, Mr. Speaker, in 2024, in October, DCEs and MCEs were at post. But we recorded cases. And so let us not try to politicize the disease. We have all agreed that cholera is sanitation and water problems. And we all need to come on board to fight against any kind of outbreak in this country.
Minority Leader Alexander Penyumakin, who also commented on the issue, criticized the NDC government for rescinding the appointment of health professionals hired after December 7. He argued that this personnel could have played a crucial role in combating the cholera outbreak.
He also called on support from the healthcare professionals. He, in fact, commended their industry thus far. But, Mr. Speaker, the only way we can have adequate support for intervention would be to have sufficient staff levels. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, the minister is aware that appointment of healthcare professionals are being revoked.
However, the health minister clarifies that no such revocation of appointment had taken place.
Mr. Speaker, we in the Ministry of Health have not revoked any health workers' appointment. Mr. Speaker, and they are part of the ministry, please. They fall under the Ministry of Health. So we in the Ministry of Health,
Honorable Minister, please address the chair.
Very well, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, whether Ghana Health Service or any agency under the Health Ministry have not revoked anybody's appointment. Mr. Speaker, I therefore put it on record that any health professional who has gone through the right processes, who is covered by the clearance, which ended on 31st December 2024 and has been posted, will never be sacked. And this is a house of record.
Moving on now, the Ghana Journalists Association has expressed concern over the rising number of attacks on journalists since John Dramani Mahama's administration took office. At a press conference, the association's president, Albert Kwabena Dufour, highlighted incidents such as the assault on journalists during the Council of State election in the Ashanti region, as well as attack on journalists in Wale by military personnel. He called on President Mahama to publicly condemn these attacks and address the issue. Additionally, he urged the Inspector General of Police, George Ekufu-Dampare, to ensure those responsible for the violence in Kumasi are held accountable. The association also indicated their intention to petition the military high command to ensure that their personnel involved in this incident are also brought to justice.
And I stress on that it is also disheartening to know that just about 50 days into the second John Mahama administration, we have witnessed 7 cases of assault against journalists. This is unprecedented. Colleagues, in the Kumasi incident, the 4 journalists were assaulted on February 11, 2025, while covering the election of the Ashanti region representative on the Council of State. The election took place at the Regional Coordinating Council, the office of the Regional Minister, Ashanti Regional Minister, who is also the chairman of the Regional Security Council, in short, RECSEC. Strangely, some thugs managed to invade the premises to disrupt the election process and viciously assault the 4 journalists. Colleagues, the GJ Ashanti region assisted the victim to go to hospital and report the matter to the police. Our intelligence suggests that the thugs and criminals who assaulted the journalist are supporters or sympathizers of the ruling National Democratic Congress, NDC. Unfortunately, no arrest or prosecution have been made. The mind-boggling question is, if REXIC cannot provide security in its own backyard, how can it provide security elsewhere? This only sends worrying signals that Ghana is heading towards a state of anarchy. It appears there's no law and order, and there's no security in the country. That is most unfortunate.
Now, President John Dramani Mahama has underscored the need for stakeholders' dialogue to proffer solutions to challenges bedeviling Ghana's education system at the launch of the National Consultative Forum on Education in Whole. The President says such occasions will answer questions such as how to improve upon the quality of education in Ghana, where to place faith-based organizations in the education architecture of the country, among others.
For many years, we've watched the standards of our education suffer significant decline, and we have individually and collectively expressed our various views on how we believe the problems with bedeviling the education sector can be addressed. What we have, however, lacked has been a unified platform on which the various shades of opinion and perspectives can be put into a melting pot and distilled to yield the most optimal outcomes for our children. In the years preceding my coming into office, I had indicated my desire to convene a national dialogue on the best approach to giving Ghanaian children a shot at a better life through quality and relevant education. I committed to ensuring that all who are concerned about education in Ghana have an opportunity to contribute meaningfully to shaping the policies and programs that will deliver the kind of education we all want. I'm gratified that this has become a reality, and I stand before you today to officially open the National Education Consultative Forum with great pleasure and a deep sense of purpose. This moment marks a significant step in fulfilling one of the commitments of our 120-day social contract with the good people of Ghana, a commitment to build consensus on the urgent and necessary reforms needed to reset our education sector. Education is not just a tool for personal development, it is the bedrock upon which the progress and prosperity of any nation rests. It defines the present and determines the future of our country. Education must remain a tool for empowerment, equality, and transformation in Ghana. It is also an important instrument for social mobility. It must inspire hope and deliver opportunity for all, whether you're born in Accra or the most remotest part of our nation. We recognize that the education system we inherited has not kept pace with the needs of 21st century society and the fourth industrial revolution.
Chairman for the occasion, Torgbui Afede the 14th, urged government to ensure that recommendations from the forum are implemented.
Our Minister of Education set the ball rolling by telling us what all this all about. And we had great presentations from our professors. Professor Agbanyegan shared with us experiences from Australia, great. From Saudi Arabia, also excellent. And experiences from Korea. We are very grateful for all of that. Professor Ashampong also emphasized to us the need for equity, inclusiveness, and the need to provide incentives to make that possible, to give access to all, including in particular the disadvantaged in our society. He identified very nicely that things that we face, among others, lack of resources or inadequacy of resources. And also, shared with us some very important recommendations. In particular, the fact that we need to have our recommendations so we can have reason to believe in them. They need to have priorities. They need to have all stakeholders, involved, and of course the importance of implementation, which luckily the President of the Republic has assured us that, unlike other things I've experienced in the past, the recommendation from here would not sit anywhere other than or get a full benefits from them.
You're still watching Marigo News at 6. Let's do business with Diana Yaira Bobby.